Let's also go across to Mihika and Mahima to understand how the tariffs will impact overall sectors and the kind of exposure India has in terms of US. Mihika, over to you first.
Let's take a recap. Trump has imposed 27% of tariffs on Indian imports, and he says that India charges 52% on US imports, and Trump has stated that these are discounted reciprocal tariffs that are imposed on a country-wise level. Now, the expected loss for India in terms of its exports to the US, well, at a 25% tariff rate, MK estimates a loss of $31 billion. And then let's look at the top exports to the US, which stand at risk in terms of sectors. Electronics at the top of the list, 14.3% share in our total exports to the US. This is followed by gems and jewelry. We exported a total of $9.9 billion in FY24. You also have nuclear reactors, parts and machinery, as well as refined petroleum products. But there are certain exceptions in this sector. You also have articles of iron and steel, textile articles, auto and auto components, non-knitted apparel, organic chemicals, knitted apparel, seafood and plastics, and these are your top sectors in terms of what we are exporting. And lastly, key exemptions. One is copper, second is pharmaceuticals, semiconductors and lumber articles. But Mahima, why don't you come and tell us what kind of stocks could be impacted?
Right, so I'll start with the textile space. The entire textile space is buzzing positively today because the tariffs that have been imposed on other countries as compared to India, other Asian countries, are higher. That is why they're reacting positively. But some counters that will see the impact include something like a Welspun Living, which has 63% exposure, Alok Industries around 45% exposure, Trident around 38% exposure. Some other names which could also possibly see some impact include Indocount as well as Arvind Limited. In terms of the chemical space, there are some more names which might see impact in the textile space, that is Vardhaman Textile, Page Industries and Raymond Limited as well. Moving on to the chemical space, two counters with high exposures, UPL as well as SRF, around 25% for UPL and 20% for SRF, followed by Jubilant Ingrevia around 9%. These could probably see some impact of these tariffs. Some other counters in the chemical space that could see impact include Aarti Industries, PI Industries, Atul Limited, Navin Fluorine, as well as some counters like Gujarat Fluorochem as well. Now, in the seafood space, however, companies have high exposure when it comes to US exports. Something like Apex Frozen Food has 63% of the revenues coming in from US, so that might see some impact. Waterbase with 40% of revenue coming in from US, followed by Avanti Feeds at 14%. In terms of the overall consumer space, rice exporters will see the impact. LT Foods, KRBL and something like a Tata Consumer could also see an impact. In terms of some other counters that will see impact in the engineering goods space include Kirloskar Brothers, L&T, Thermax, Cummins India. For solar makers, Vari Energies as well as Premier Energies might see some impact. In terms of power equipment makers, stocks like Trill, Silchar Technologies, BHEL, GE&TD, ABB India, Voltamp might see some impact of this tariffs being implemented. And lastly, in the consumer space, something like Britannia or Mrs. Bector's, which exports biscuits, something like Nestle India, Haldiram's, which exports a lot of snacks to the US, might see impact. And lastly, some names to highlight, Vadilal could also see some impact because a lot of exports of ice cream for Vadilal takes place to the US. So all of these counters will eventually see an impact of the tariffs being implemented.